So, how do we cultivate this sincerity? One simple elementary practice will be to work on a surface level contradiction, the contradiction between what we say and what we act, and the thoughts and emotions that we hold within ourselves. In this world of high competitiveness, it might so happen that we look at our colleagues and we might wish him for the best to happen, and yet somewhere within us, secretly, we wish that he doesn't perform his best so that we get the necessary openings to go forward in our life. And this is something which is simple and elementary that we have to work on by shifting the focus of attention from other people to ourselves. Rather than holding thoughts and emotions of competitiveness, we turn the focus of attention to ourselves, and then we work on being the best that we can be, not in comparison with anybody else. Once we begin this process, then we enter into the process of cultivating sincerity. And this cultivation will involve two simple steps. The first step is, as soon as we turn the focus of attention on ourselves, we have to find out for ourselves, why do we think in a certain way, what makes us feel in a certain way, and what impulses that results in action or speech. This is almost like looking within ourselves with a torchlight. And when we do that, we will be in for a surprise, because we might discover a whole lot of impulses, tendencies, dark spots within ourselves of jealousies, of tendency to lie. Every time we discover a dark spot within ourselves, an impulse which we do not want to follow, we make a note of it, but sometimes it might put us into shame and guilt. How do we avoid that? Well, we convert it into an opportunity for making a progress. Every time we encounter a negative element within ourselves, we actually try to have a sense of gratitude that I know now what are the things that I have to work on. So I convert a situation into an opportunity for progress. As we begin to develop this capacity to observe ourselves silently, intensely, in a focused way, we might even discover that various parts of ourselves are actually not aligned with each other. They might even want different things for themselves. While my heart, my emotions want one thing, my mind wants something else. Let's say tomorrow I have to make a presentation in my office, and probably it is at that time that my emotions that are seeking for some satisfaction, some entertainment and enjoyment would insist on going for a binge watching of an episode of a TV series. And while at the same time, my physical part might insist on getting a good night's sleep, eating some good food, and it is already looking for the comforts that it can get. And when I end up discovering the various parts almost at war with themselves, well, that also could become a cause for concern. So, the first result of observing ourselves might result in a sense of guilt or shame, which you have to work on. It might end up in a sense of despair also, because things are fighting with each other. How do we deal with it? Well, we cannot deal with it unless and until we have the discrimination of the things that need to be encouraged within me and the things within me that need to be discouraged. And this discrimination is not available to my mind nor even to my emotions. And as we saw in the previous interaction, it is available with that part deep within myself, which alone has the knowledge and insight to do the right thing in the right way, and also to know what is the right thing at any given point of time. And therefore, even though initially we might enter into a state of guilt or shame or despair, that is only temporary, it is only a transitional stage until we discover that deeper part within us, which with its torchlight can show us the dark spots which need to be transformed or eliminated, and the weaker parts which need to be developed into something beautiful and something which is powerful. And therefore, the discovery of this part within us becomes imperative in order to enter into a state of absolute sincerity. Everything that we do, every word that we speak, and even the thoughts and feelings that we ask for, which we seek for, will have to be oriented towards taking us closer to this deeper part within ourselves. And this itself becomes an intense practice for developing sincerity. As we progress in this practice, we will observe that every time we speak something which is not aligned with it, when we do something which is not aligned with it, it immediately gives us a sense of uneasiness. And if we can catch hold of that uneasiness and then follow the source of uneasiness, we will actually end up being in touch with that part. And it is only a question of time before we can draw out the wisdom from the same part, with which we know how to work on each and every part of ourselves and aligning them with this deepest part within ourselves. This becomes the practice for achieving absolute sincerity.